Hi, Jose. Thank you for taking time to speak with us today.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
I really enjoyed the film. I felt so inspired and emotional watching your story play out. It was just incredible.
Isn't it a beautiful story?
Yes.
Alejandra Marquez Abella, our esteemed director, did a superb job in condensing a whole lifetime into a 2-hour biopic and did it so effectively. And the thing I loved about is she incorporated a lot of the family values and the efforts to get me to the point where I finally get selected as an astronaut. So it wasn't a journey of one, it was a journey of many.
Yes. And speaking of that, so I know that your story has been out there for a while and people have tried to make your story before and it was just never the right time. So what was it about this time that made you say yes?
It was all about the people who wanted to make it. The folks that approached me was a film house called Select Films, ran by Mark Chiardi, executive producer of our movie, and they had just finished doing McFarlane USA. They had done Million Dollar Arm and Secretariat. And so they had a nice pedigree of doing films that were inspirational. And that's when I realized this is the film house where my story can be told the way I wanted to be told. And so once they approached me, I said, yes, let's go ahead and do it. Let's bottle it up. Let's pitch it. And next thing you know, here we are at Prime Video, September 15th at over 240 countries, movie being shown.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jana, you're next.
Hi, Jose. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today. How
Hello, I love your
closely,
hair.
oh, thank you. It's kind of fun. How closely did you work with Michael Pena and what was that like? Were there things about his performance that you would have chosen to do differently, as he portrayed you, or tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Michael is a true professional, and when it was known that he was going to portray me, he reached out to me. Unfortunately, it was during the pandemic, so we did what we a lot of Zoom calls, and he got to know me over Zoom, and I think he got the gist of what I was about with respect to my personality, and he did a masterful job at portraying that up in the screen. And she did, he did a great job. I mean, he's a great actor, and he was our first choice. So I was tickled to death when he said he would want to do it, and I had seen him in The Martian with Matt Damon, and so he already had experience being an astronaut, so he didn't need additional training, and so it was great that he did it. But yeah, he did a masterful job and accurately portrayed my character.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin.
Hi, Jose. What an incredibly inspiring film. The Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. this weekend, so it was
Oh,
extra
great.
to see it there.
I love your
Um,
background, by the way.
Thank you. My question for you is, how did you continue to persevere after so many rejections? And I have to know, did you actually hand in that 12th letter there like they did in the movie?
Yes, I did hand in that 12th letter, and but I didn't hand it to who was going to be my commander or my trainer. I handed it to the manager of the astronaut selection office, Mr. Dwayne Ross. And so Hollywood sort of combines characters to save time, but for the most part, the story was told very accurately. And did I give up? After so many rejections, I didn't want to give up because I was enjoying the journey. That's what I tell people is that you have to enjoy the journey. And if you look around, being an engineer with a graduate degree working in a premier research facility, that wasn't a bad consolation prize if I never got selected. So that was the whole thing. Now, there was a point on my sixth rejection where I was about ready to give up, and my wife made that, simple yet profound question to me. She said, "What do they have that you don't have?" Meaning the ones that got selected. And to me, it was ironic because I didn't know the answer. I said, maybe I should find out. And that's how I became a pilot, scuba dive rated, learned a third language. It's after she asked that question. So, the little things made a big difference.
That's incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sandra?
Hi, thank you for having us. It's really a pleasure
Hi,
to
Sandra.
represent my Mexican culture in this movie. It is a powerful movie. I love the music.
Thank you.
And also the cameo. Tell us your experience acting, because I said, oh my God, it's you, right? How
You
was
noticed
it?
that, huh? You noticed
Yes,
that.
it was
Oh,
really good.
just call me Stan Lee.
Yes. Yeah, you're the new Stanley.
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed doing the cameo. The ironic thing about it is that's not the scene I pitched. The scene I pitched was in Mission Control Houston, where I would tell them all systems go. But the director wasn't filming that part in the movie. So she said, I have this part for you. And the ironic part is that is what I used to do before I went up into space. As an astronaut, we have assignments to support the space program. And my assignment was to go 2 weeks before each launch, prep the vehicle from the inside. And the last thing I would do is I would ingress the crew inside and prep them to go inside. So what I was doing there in the white suit and everything, that's what I did for 7 launches. So that's pretty cool and ironic.
You did great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hirumi?
Oh yeah, hi Jose, it's so nice to meet you. My son and I watched your movie last night.
Great, very nice to meet you. And how did your son like it? How old's your son?
My son is 15 and he's the reason why we went. He wants to be an astronaut.
All right.
Yeah, like he really wants to from the bottom of his heart. And so when you ask Adela, my question is when you ask Adela in the movie, what are your dreams? And then she goes, what are your dreams? And you say astronaut, and she laughs, like how did most people, when you're talking about this, or did you tell people like this is my dream? And how did they, how did that impact you?
Well, the reaction I would get from other people were pretty similar to Adela's reaction. So what I quickly learned is to share my dream with the people I trusted, with my loved ones and the people I trusted at work, and not go beyond that, because then people would sort of make fun of you or ridicule you, and so I thought it was very important to sort of just share it with my close-knit circle, and those are the ones that ultimately helped me and did a lot of critical things along the way that allowed me to get selected as an astronaut.
Oh, thank you. As his mom, I'm just trying to figure out how do I support him,
You know what? My best advice: feed the dream. Feed the dream. Have him participate in extracurricular activities, first robotics, those type of competitions. When he goes to college, if he goes to engineering, student engineering societies, where they compete in design competitions, those type of things. Keep him busy and feed the dream.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Victor?
Hey, Jose.
Hey, Victor.
I'm sorry. The movie was really inspirational for me. I mean, there was a lot of times where I was crying watching this because I related a lot with like what your family did and what my family went through when they came to this country. But being that this movie premieres on the start of Hispanic Heritage Month, the great thing that I kind of following Tarumi's question is that for the kids that are going to watch this movie, or families that are going to watch this movie together, at being that this is going to be I guess at the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month, like what advice would you give them for kids that have dreams that maybe not to be an astronaut, but just what, what would to follow their dreams? Like, what would you say to them, other than following the ingredients your dad gave you? Like, what else would you like pitch to them or tell them to follow their dreams?
Well, similar to the story, there is what I would tell them is to don't be afraid to share the dream with your loved ones, and those closely around you that you trust, because as you can see in the movie, the story isn't about one person who dreamt of being an astronaut and then single-handedly became an astronaut. It's a story that follows una familia, a family, surrounded by love and nurture and supported. Key pivotal moments. Miss Young telling my parents, stop moving around and stay in one place, right? My wife asking that simple yet profound question after I was ready to give up: what do they have that you don't have? It's those type of things that if you share your dream, you're going to have you build a support network around you that greatly increases your chances of being successful. And that's what I would tell everybody. I said, don't be afraid to dream. Just be ready to work hard and share it with your loved ones. And if you have that perseverance, eventually you'll get there.
Thank you. Gracias.
A ti. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Ashley, we'll go back to you.
So you kind of touched on it, the family aspect. I really love that. I think that's my favorite part of the movie, was seeing your family and the community that came around you. And I love your wife. Like, if she's anything like her character in the movie, like, no offense, she was my favorite.
Absolutely. I agree. I say that the actress Rosa Salazar, I think she was a scene stealer in the movie. In certain parts, because I'll be honest with you, when I saw the movie when I first saw the movie, and from a personality perspective, I was seeing my wife up there. I mean, she nailed my wife to the T, and she did her homework. She called my wife. She did Zoom with her. They cooked together over Zoom. Della taught her some recipes. And so she got my my wife's personality to the T. And Adela didn't realize that Rosa was just studying her in these Zoom calls. She thought, oh, she's just a friend and she wants to be nice, but she was studying because it showed on the screen.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to kind of ask, was how surreal was it for your family to see themselves play out? But like, I love that the actors were, reaching out and doing these Zooms with you all, because just you could feel it. You could feel that family bond in it. It was really solid.
Yeah, they're true professionals. They did their homework and they did it right. So I'm very grateful that they took the time, because they didn't have to do that. They could have just said, okay, I'm assuming this is how Jose is and I'll interpret it this way. But they took the time and met with us and got the gist of our personalities.
Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jana, and this will be the last question.
Okay.
Okay, so in the movie, there's this really wild training montage sequence.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did all those in real life. I've done a few of them when you go to like the training center in Huntsville, Alabama. You get to like do some of those. Of those that they show in the movie, what are the ones that you enjoyed the most in real life when you were training to be an astronaut?
I think the ones I enjoyed the most was when you got on the motion-based simulator. It's like this. It has 4 seats, and you get in, and then it does this, goes erect, and then you perform a launch simulation. And then they throw the kitchen sink at you, failure after failure, and you've got to respond correctly. They'll fail an engine. They'll fail an electrical line. They'll fail a auxiliary power unit. Landing gear goes bad. All kinds of stuff that where you have to put the landing gear manual, and all kinds of stuff that they do, and you practice that. And at first, at first, you die a couple of times, and then after that, you get the gist of it, and you start surviving and start doing very well. So I thought that was because we did that hundreds of times.
Thank you so much.